Very good morning to all of you, and welcome back to our session on heat transfer. So, uh, I hope you all have done with your test for I think it was uh, Tom 2. So the time is 11:32. Let us wait for one more minute, and then we can begin. Okay. So by that time, let the others join in, and let us take a quick review of what we have did in last week. Okay. So last couple of lectures, particularly last couple of lectures, we have been discussing about the heat transfer from extended surfaces, and these extended surfaces are known as fins. Okay, so fins become a special category of heat transfer, which involves conduction as well as convection. Uh, Conduction and convection both are involved, and so it becomes a different category, a separate or special family of heat transfer that has to be handled in some different way. Okay, so basically let me now share my screen so that all of you will have some view. I have started screen sharing. It will take some time to show effect. So just give me confirmation, are you able to see the change of screen? Any one of you? You can say yes or no.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay. Some people are saying yes. I hope it is it is all right for everyone. So as you can see in the diagram, or rather on your slide, on your screen. Okay. So we are talking about the fins. Fins are actually the extended surfaces, and why we provide extended surfaces or fins. The basic idea is to have more rate of heat transfer or increased rate of heat transfer within the given conditions or within the given geometry. Okay, we have to uh, we have to we have to be within the given case and given constraints for the existing system or component or equipment, and there we need to increase the rate of heat transfer, and that is happening by convection. And then in case of convection, as you see, the equation is ha delta t, h heat transfer coefficient, a being the surface area, and delta t is the temperature difference available for heat transfer. So out of these three factors, h and delta t we can't do much, because it is for a given situation. It depends on conditions, and it is not in our hand. Okay, so in a given situation with the constraints, what we can do max is maximum we can increase the area available for heat transfer, because heat transfer is directly proportional to surface area. Mm, okay. So to get more and more heat transfer rate, we have to increase the surface area, but while doing that, we should not make any big changes to the basic design of a component. Okay, so uh, without causing much of the changes to the basic shape or a form or the size of the component or the equipment from which heat transfer is taking place, what we can do is we can attach some extended surfaces, so thereby we can get some extended area, and that extended area will help us improve or increase the heat transfer rate. So this is the basic idea. So for that matter, without without touching the or without changing the major dimensions or the basic form and shape and size of given component, we can simply add some extended components or extended parts. Okay, as shown in the figure. So they uh, so these extended surfaces, depending upon geometries, will have different shapes and sizes. As you can see in the diagram, it is a simple plate like extension. So these are plate fins. These are typically plate fins. Okay. uh, Actually we have gone through all these introductory talk, introductory discussion about the concept of fins and all. I will just run through these slides so that you will recall what we are going through and what we are talking about. Okay, so application wise, there are tremendous applications or very wide applications for fins, and these have been used in practice whenever it is possible and whenever it is required. So as you can see in the as you can see the images, the IC cooling of IC engines, motorcycle, bike engines, the cooling of reciprocating cylinders, reciprocating compressors. Okay, all these are provided with such kind of serrations or such kind of extended surfaces. These are nothing but fins. Okay, so these are peripheral fins. Sometimes these are known as circumferential fins or uh, what I can say circular fins or annular fins. Okay, so again their shape and size will depend on the basic geometry of a component. Okay, then the other applications in electrical systems, you have electrical power transformers, electrical motors. All these have to be cooled down so that their temperature can be maintained under some allowable maximum limit, allowable maximum and safe limit, and we can ensure thereby we can ensure their proper working. Okay, the normal working and normal performance of power transformers or electrical motors. So cooling is necessary to have more amount of cooling, more amount of heat transfer removal. These are provided with extended surfaces. These are the fins. Okay, so generally you will get to see such type of extended surfaces on the body on the of the transformer or even motor. General motor is also having serrations like this. Same. Then there are many applications for the fins in the automobile radiators, air conditioning and refrigeration coils. Even now the heat sinks uh, which are formed with the help of fins are the essential components for electronic circuits and other micro components like microprocessor chips, motherboards of computers, transistors. All those electronic components require some amount of cooling, and to increase the rate of cooling, that is rate of heat removal, all such type of basic geometries are provided, and extended surfaces become the category of fin. Okay, now their shapes and sizes will be very complicated. Again, the shape and size will depend on the area available or the space available, because as you see, most of the digital devices such as computers and laptops are their sizes are shrinking down and down. Okay, they are getting more and more compact, and as the space is very very limited and very congested, in those shapes we have to accommodate uh, the extended areas or extended fins, and those have to be in very compact shape. Thereby, uh, that is why the geometries are going to get more and more complicated. Okay, so that is why you see such irregular geometries or intricate shape geometries. Okay, so these are some extended and advanced applications, and so we have gone through all this, and when we start our study, we have to start with some basic shapes. Okay, some of the basic and very easy geometry. So under that, we have covered the types of fins: straight fins with constant uniform cross section, constant cross section area, then non-uniform cross section such as the trapezoidal or triangular fins, annular fins having the circular geometry, and pin fins. Pin fins are in the shape of long rod or long bar having very long length as compared to the cross section as compared to a diameter or cross section. Okay, so there this is the case of single fin. Then we discussed when multiple fins are provided, it becomes a fin array of the fin or a fin system. Okay, then for our study at undergraduate level, our it is our scope is limited to study of pin fins, study of pin fins, because The analysis is quite simple in nature, and mathematical formulations are quite easily available, and those can be well used and can be remembered and can be applied while solving the problems. Okay, just a second, let me confirm all have joined. Okay, so let me make it on. So pin fins, our study is mostly concerned with the pin fins. Again, in pin fins, we have different categories or different classes, because as we go on changing the conditions, boundary conditions at the tip, we are going to get different case, and we are going to get different mathematical formulations, and thereby different case pertaining to different cases, we have to use that particular or that particular formulae or mathematical analysis as it is required or as it is applicable. Okay, so fin with insulated end, very long fin, fin with its with fin with the convection from its end. Okay, these are the some of the categories. Out of this, on Saturday we have completed the detailed analysis of first case, that is fin with insulated end. Okay, and while doing this, in meanwhile, we have also defined some factors or some terms for the fins, such as fin effectiveness and fin efficiency. Okay, so fin effectiveness is the ratio of heat transfer rate, uh, ratio of heat transfer rate with fins and without fins. So obviously, the fin effectiveness should always be greater than 1, and whereas fin efficiency is the comparison of actual heat transfer rate to the maximum possible heat transfer rate maximum possible heat transfer rate under ideal conditions. Okay, so fin efficiency will always be less than 1, and fin effectiveness should also always be greater than 1. Okay, so these are the important necessary conditions for the fins. Okay, so uh, then we proceeded for the mathematical formulation, that is differential equation of a pin fin in general case. Then, mm, then we applied. We took on the case of analysis of a pin fin with insulated end. That is the case number one. So we have gone through this complete derivation, and by this process of derivation, that is solving the differential equation, then applying boundary conditions so as to get the values of constants, particular constants. By doing this, we get important equations for temperature distribution. This is going to be very important. So this formula you have to well understand as well as remember, and as well as use it whenever it is required for problem solving. Okay, so when there is a case problem of insulated fin with insulated tip, you have to use this formula of temperature distribution to find the required temperature at given length or at required location. Okay, so theta by theta 0 is equal to cos hyperbolic m l minus x upon cos hyperbolic m l. So this is the form of this equation for temperature. So there is a hyperbolic function. So there is a cos hyperbolic function. In the same way, we derived a formula for rate of heat transfer from a fin in this case, which is given by q equal to under root hp upon k into theta 0 into tan hyperbolic ml. Okay. Then we extended this derivation to fin effectiveness. So fin efficiency. So fin efficiency comes out as tan hyperbolic ml upon ml. So these three formulae are very important, and you have to understand them well as you have to remember for a particular case. Okay, so for this case number one, so these the three formulae become very important, and uh, we also saw the relation between fin effectiveness and fin efficiency. It is generally given in the form of ratio of areas. Effectiveness to efficiency ratio is surface area, ratio of surface area to the base area. Okay. Now let us move on to the case number 2. Case number 2 is pin fin with infinite length. Pin fin with infinite length, or as you can read on your screen, it is infinitely long fin. It is infinitely long fin. Again, the diagram will be the same, only the uh, change will be at the end, how we apply the boundary conditions. Depending on that, uh, the analysis will change. Okay, so this is the base surface which is at T0 temperature, and its location is at x0, x equal to 0. We are taking distances in positive x direction from left to right. So positive x is in this direction. Then so x is equal to 0 means base of the base area or base of the fin, and x equal to length L, which is the total length of the given fin. That will be the that will be the location for the tip. Okay, so right hand boundary is at x equal to L. Okay, now this case is length is going to infinity. Okay, it means that we are having uh, very long length of the fin. Okay, in practice there is nothing like an infinite. Okay, so as you know, we cannot go for very long or infinitely long length of the fin. We have to limit it to some finite value. Okay, so infinite is with respect to the dimensions. Okay, let us say this length is very long as compared to the base dimensions. Okay, so base dimensions are, let us say, 2 meter to 5 meter, and length of the fin is like 10 meter. So as compared to the base dimensions, the length is very large, so it becomes a case of infinitely long fin. Okay, so let I will read out whatever the conditions are given here. So as we move away from the fin base, that is x equal to 0, the temperature of fin approaches the temperature of surrounding fluid Tf. Okay, so this fin is surrounded by surrounding fluid, which is at a uniform temperature Tf, which is also maintained constant, and in such a way that it is on lower side. It is lower than the base temperature T0. That is why heat transfer is taking place from T0, that is base, to the fin, and from fin to the surrounding fluid by convection. Okay, so heat heat transfer is occurring by convection around the periphery of the fin. Around the periphery of the fin. So we can plot the general temperature distribution for this case. So this is on y-axis, temperature on y-axis, and length is taken on x-axis. So T0 being on higher side or maximum temperature, it is shown at this height, and the Tf being on lower side or minimum temperature in the condition, in the situation. So it is shown on the lower side, and it is being constant, uniform throughout the length, because everywhere fluid temperature is going to be same. Okay, so Tf is uniform and constant. So this is here, and this as we move along the length of the fin, the temperature of the fin surface is going to vary. Okay, so at the base it is equal to T0, but as you go away from the base, it is going to drop, it is going to decrease. Okay, so it is gradually and continuously decreasing, and it will reach its minimum at the tip of the fin. Okay, uh, at the tip of the fin as we move farther away from the base. Okay, and at infinite length, let us say length is going to infinity. At infinite length, let us say uh, temperature at the tip is approaching the temperature of the fluid. Temperature of the tip of the fin is approaching temperature of the fluid. So what will happen? Temperature difference at the tip will be zero, will tend to zero. Okay, so T is approaching Tf, is not equal to Tf, but it is very close to Tf. So the temperature difference will also very close to zero. Okay, it will be very close to zero, but not equal to zero. So these are all limiting cases. So the temperature of fin will equal to Tf at infinitely uh, long length or at infinity. Okay, so but this is not possible in practice to provide such an infinite length of fin. Okay, so it becomes necessary to approximate for sufficiently longer length. For sufficiently longer length, it becomes very uh, it, be, it becomes necessary to approximate. Okay, because we cannot have a fin of length, let us say 1 kilometer or 2 kilometer or so. It is very impractical thing. Okay, so as compared to the base dimensions, if the length of the fin is very large, let us say 10 meter or 20 meter, so that is going to be that in that case we can say the fin length is infinitely long. Okay, infinitely long. So therefore, in limiting conditions, uh, such a considerably long fin can be termed as infinitely long fin. Okay. So we have general differential equation as d2 theta by dx square minus m square theta equal to 0, uh, for which general solution is theta equal to c1 e raised to mx plus c2 e raised to minus mx. These steps remain common for all cases. Now we have to apply boundary conditions. So for this case, at x equal to 0, that is at the base, temperature is going to be T0. Temperature at the base is T0. So temperature difference theta is equal to theta 0. So temperature difference is given by T0 minus Tf. Tf is constant. So theta is defined as T minus Tf. So T is T0. So T0 minus Tf. Okay, so this is going to be constant value. Theta 0. So temperature difference theta at the base is denoted by theta suffix 0. So T0 minus Tf. So this is uh, one boundary condition at the base. Now let us see what is happening at the uh, at the tip of the fin at the other boundary, that is x equal to L. Now this length is going to infinity, that is x is tending to infinity. So theta will tend to 0 as temperature T is approaching Tf. Okay, T is approaching Tf. So this can be given in this form in limit form as x is tending to L, that is which is tending to infinity. Temperature T of the tip of the fin is closing in on temperature of fluid. Temperature of fluid T closing to Tf. So temperature difference is closing to 0, is approaching very closely to 0, but not equal to 0. Now this boundary condition will be satisfied by function e raised to minus mx. Okay, in general solution we have term e raised to minus mx. E raised to minus mx, you can this we can write as 1 upon e raised to plus mx. So this is going to be the reciprocal 1 upon uh, 1 upon e raised to plus mx. And if you put x equal to infinity, in that case what it will mean, the denominator is going to infinite, 1 upon infinity. So 1 upon infinity is very similar to 0, is closely equal to 0. Okay, so uh, at the other part of the solution of equation 2, this is e raised to plus mx, this is e raised to minus mx, this is e raised to plus mx. um, if we put x equal to infinity, so this term will get very large, and it will not fulfill the fulfill the necessary condition in this case. Okay, so that will not satisfy the conditions here. So that becomes invalid. Uh, so in this case, we can omit this term, and general solution will be given by only the second term, that is theta is equal to constant c into e raised to minus mx. Okay, c is any arbitrary constant. Here we have constant c2, so theta equal to c2 into e raised to minus mx. Okay, so this you can view as c2 upon e raised to plus mx, and if you put x equal to infinity, it will be c2 upon infinity, and anything upon infinity is going to be very small, and it will be in effect it means that theta is tending to 0. Theta is tending to 0. Okay, so from this, we can infer that c1 c1 equal to 0. Okay, so c1 from this is going to be 0. Now we will find c2. Now using boundary condition 1, that is at x equal to 0, theta equal to theta 0. So theta 0 will be given as theta 0 is equal to c2 into e raised to 0. Okay, c1 is anyway uh, anyway has gone to 0. So what is remaining is only C2 into e raised to minus mx. If we put x equal to 0 and anything raised to 0, it is 1. So theta 0 is equal to C2. Okay, so C1 obtained as 0, C2 obtained as theta 0. Now we can put C1 and C2 back into the original equation of temperature difference theta. So theta comes out as theta equal to theta 0 into e raised to minus mx. And uh, okay, so actually C2 is replaced by theta 0. So that is why directly we are getting this form. So we can write it as theta upon theta 0. So theta 0 is taken to denominator. So in the form of ratio of temperature differences, theta upon theta 0 is equal to e raised to minus mx. E raised to minus mx. Okay. So due to these boundary conditions, we are getting a very simple form of equation for temperature distribution. It is very easy to remember and very simple to write. It has only one term, e raised to minus mx. Okay, no any hyperbolic function, no any other factors involved. So theta by theta 0 is equal to e raised to minus mx. This will give the temperature distribution for any particular uh, x distance length for infinitely long fin. Okay, so this is going to be important formula for this case, and whenever there is a problem or a question for infinitely long fin, we will use this form. Okay, so this equation will be useful. Now let us find heat transfer rate from fin. Heat transfer rate from the fin will be given by Fourier's law at the base. It is q equal to minus k d theta by dx at at the base of the fin, because at the base of the fin it is all solid material. Okay, so the base is like a solid wall, and the fin which is attached to the base, it is also of solid material. So from the base and into the fin, the heat is being conducted, so that is why we are using conduction equation. Okay, so q equal to minus k d theta by dx at x equal to 0. So we have to take the value of d theta by dx, that is temperature gradient, at the base, that is at x equal to 0. Okay. So now we have to evaluate d theta by dx at x equal to 0. So d theta by dx is equal to minus m into theta 0 e raised to minus mx. Okay, so this comes from this relation or this equation. You take the derivative of this d theta by dx. So on right hand side, theta 0 is constant. So this e raised to minus mx, differentiation of e raised to minus mx, as you know, this constant will come as coefficient minus m into e raised to minus mx. Okay, so minus m into e raised theta 0 into e raised to minus mx. Now we will put x equal to 0 in this equation. So minus m into theta 0, x equal to 0, anything raised to 0 is 1. So minus m into theta 0. Let us say it is equation number 9. So we obtained this uh, relation for this term. Now we can put this in equation 8. So rate of heat transfer is equal to minus k d theta by dx at x equal to 0. Its value is just we have obtained minus m into theta 0. So minus minus cancels. So we left with m into k into theta 0. Now m, we know m is not a mass. We have already defined this term. Okay, and it is substituted in the form of m square equal to hp upon k. So m equal to under root hp upon k. Under root hp upon k. Now this k taken inside, and so it will cancels out with one of the k. And what we are left with is under root heat transfer rate is equal to under root hp into k into theta 0. Theta 0 is out of the root sign. Only in under root there are only four terms, h, p, k, a. P, as you know, it is the perimeter of the fin, and A is the cross sectional area of the fin. Okay, so heat transfer rate equation we also get in very nice form, very simple form, and very easy to remember for this case. Okay, so there are very few terms, so it becomes very easy to remember. Q equal to under root HPK into theta 0. Now we will proceed for fin efficiency in this case. So fin efficiency by definition is actual rate of heat transfer divided by maximum possible heat transfer. So maximum possible heat transfer, as you know, it is given by heat transfer coefficient into surface area of the fin into uh, maximum temperature difference available, that is theta 0. okay, which is available at the base. So this surface area is can also be written in this form: perimeter of the fin into length of the fin, perimeter of the fin into length of the fin. So we will put Q and Q max in this relation. Efficiency equal to under root HP upon K. This is my actual rate of heat transfer, which is coming from this formula. So under root HP upon K into theta 0 divided by Q max is HPL into theta 0. So theta 0 will get cancelled out. Uh, some common terms we will cancel from this. We will take this h and p in the root, so it will be h square and p square. So uh, h and p, one of the h and p will get cancelled out. L we are keeping outside, so we get under root ka upon hp into 1 upon l. If we take its reciprocal in denominator, so we get 1 upon under root hp upon k into l, and under root hp upon k is nothing but m. So efficiency also comes out as very simple form of equation. So this is very easy to remember and very simple to write. Efficiency equal to 1 upon ml. Okay. So we are getting only very short forms of equations for infinitely long fin case. Okay. Infinitely long fin case. So these three formulae again you have to remember. Efficiency is 1 upon ml. Heat transfer rate is under root hp upon k into theta 0, and temperature distribution is again very simple: theta by theta 0 is equal to e raised to minus mx. So these three formulae are going to be valid for infinitely long fin case, and whenever there is a problem, so regarding this we have to use these formulae. Okay, we have to use these three formulae. So there are three formulae for first case, that is fin with insulated tip, then three formula for fin with infinitely long length. Okay, so two cases we have seen so far. Now there is a third case. Let us uh, let us quickly go through this third case. Now third case is fin with convection of its end, means convection from its end. Okay, so it is also considered as a short fin. So length of the fin will be very practical in nature, and and in general these type of fins, these types of fins uh, are used in practice. Okay, so we happen to encounter such type of a fins, and so we have to take the analysis of this type of a fin. Okay, so length will not be like infinitely long, and also the tip is not insulated. Okay, tip is not going to be insulated. So as tip is not insulated, it means there is heat transfer. There is a heat transfer rate from the tip of the fin to the surrounding fluid, to the surrounding fluid. So again, the same diagram is shown. Only the change will be at the boundary at x equal to L. So boundary conditions will change. Okay, so T0 at the base temperature, Tf being common, being the uniform and constant temperature of the fluid at lower side, and this is the variation of temperature along the length of the fin. Okay, so as we are moving away from the base of the fin, temperature is going to decrease like this, in this manner, in a curve shape, and at the end, in this case, temperature at the tip will be TL, T suffix L. Okay, and this is not equal to TF, so it is not approaching TF. So temperature difference theta at the tip is not going to be, is not equal to 0, or it is not approaching or very close to 0. So it is having some finite value. Thereby d theta by dx is also not equal to 0. Temperature gradient is also not equal to 0. So there is certainly some heat transfer at the tip of the at the tip, and that is going by convection. Okay, that is going by convection. So TL, the temperature of the fin at the tip, at the end of the fin, TL going to be greater than TF, and TF is the surrounding fluid temperature, uh, already shown. Okay. Again, we start with the general differential equation of a pin fin: d2 theta by dx square minus m square theta equal to 0. Equation number 1. General solution also remains the same form: theta equal to c1 e raised to mx plus c2 e raised to minus mx. For this case, we have to find values of constant C1 and C2, and these depend on boundary conditions. These depend on boundary conditions. Okay. So again, the first boundary conditions. Again, if you keenly look at all the three cases, you are going to find that the boundary condition one, that is at x equal to 0, that is at the base of the fin, we have used the same boundary conditions for all three cases. So it is common boundary condition, the condition which is applicable for all three cases. Only the change is happening for second boundary condition. Second boundary condition is changing. So whatever change is occurring for the analysis of the fin is only at the tip. So first case was insulated tip fin. So in that case, d theta by dx equal to 0, that was taken. In the infinitely long length of the fin, theta equal to 0 was the taken, was boundary condition. And in this case, both of them are not valid. So we will have to use some other boundary condition. Okay, we will have to use some other boundary conditions. So using the first boundary condition, so we get theta equal to theta 0 at the base is equal to c1 e raised to mx, and we are putting x equal to 0, so anything raised to 0 is 1. Again, same will happen here, e raised to minus mx, x equal to 0, that will also turn to 1, that will also turn to 1. So we get theta 0 equal to c1 plus c2. Very simple relation, that is sum of c1 and c2. So c2 equal to theta 0 minus c1. Okay, so these arrangements we are doing only for simplicity and further calculations or further analysis. Okay, so at the tip of the fin, at x equal to L, we have we have assumed that there is some heat transfer by convection at the tip. So we can write energy balance, rate of heat conduction at the base is equal to rate of heat convection. So whatever heat is coming through the fin body, that is by conduction at the tip, which is going to equal to the rate of heat convection from the tip to the surrounding fluid, from the tip to the surrounding fluid. So this is the tip at which there is conduction, and at the tip, from the from this tip to the surrounding fluid, it is by convection. It is by convection. Okay, on one side we have conduction term and the other side we have convection terms, and both will equal each other under steady state conditions, because we are analyzing the fin in under steady state conditions. Okay, so on left hand side we have minus ka d theta by dx at x equal to L. Now we have to evaluate the temperature gradient d theta by dx at x equal to L, at x equal to L. And on right side we have h a into theta L, h a into theta L. For again for convection at the tip, only area available is this. Okay, not the entire surface area. So only this transverse area or cross sectional area is available, because fin is ending here. Okay, fin is ending here. So at the tip, the uh, area which is exposed to the surrounding fluid will equal to the cross sectional area, will equal to the cross sectional area. So that is why area is getting cancelled, being common factor, and theta L is the temperature difference at the tip. Okay, so this is going to be TL minus TF, TL minus TF. So minus k into d theta by dx at x equal to L equal to h into theta L. This is equation number 5. Now we have to find the values for d theta by dx at x equal to L and theta L, and put it back in this equation, so that the we can get the exact values of constant C1 and C2. Okay, at this moment both are unknown, both we have not obtained. Okay, so we will differentiate theta with respect to x. So d theta by dx comes out as m c1 into e raised to mx minus m c2 e raised to minus mx. Let us put x equal to L in this relation. So d theta by dx at x equal to L. So wherever there is x, we will replace by L. So we get m into bracket, m being the common factor taken out, m into c1 e raised to ml minus c2 e raised to minus ml. Equation number 7. Okay. Then theta L will be given by C1 e raised to ml. Again, we are taking this from equation of theta, general equation of theta. So in place of x, we are putting L. So C1 e raised to ml plus C2 e raised to minus ml, equation number 8. So both these 7 and 8 will be replaced back, will be put back into equation number 6. Okay, will be substituted in, sorry, equation number 5. Okay, so this term is from equation 7 and this term obtained from equation 8. Okay, so equations are going to become larger in size, okay, as number of terms are going to increase. So we get minus k m into c1 e raised to ml minus c2 e raised to minus ml equal to h into c1 e raised to ml plus c2 e raised to minus ml. Okay, so this is actually uh, d theta by dx at x equal to l, and this term h into theta l, this bracket is for theta l. Okay, theta l is replaced by this term. Okay, so now I will what I will do is I will not go into all the steps of simplification, because this is all algebra. What we are doing is we are trying to bring uh, some of the terms in some common form, such as here we uh, what we have done is we will collect the common factors on one side, and the same and some other common terms on right hand side. Okay, and then we will get to we will solve it for constant c1, constant c1. Okay, so what we have done here is all the theta 0 terms have been taken on left hand side. So theta 0 e raised to minus ml, and all such terms having h upon mk are taken on right hand side. Okay, so when you go through each and every step for this, to understand each and every step of this derivation, you have to do it on your own handwriting. Okay, you have to do little bit of practice. You have to write down all these steps. Then while writing it, you have to understand by yourself. For this matter, you have to spend some time. Then and then only it is going to be understood. Otherwise, if I just go on reading the steps, it will be of no use. Okay, it will be just like a one time hearing or one time listening, and you will forget immediately. Okay, so for this document I'm going to share with you, and what you have to do is you have to repeat all the steps in your assignment book or homework book, and by that you can understand what has been done for each step and how the forms have been reduced to some common form. So c1 we obtain in this form. Okay, it is after simplification and using some algebra, we get c1 equal to in this form. Again, this form is also very large in size, and as many number of parameters are involved. So c1 is this. In the same way, we obtain C2. C2 is this. Okay, using the earlier equations. So C1, C2 going to be very lengthy in nature and very big in size. When we put them in general equation of 2, that is temperature distribution theta. So finally, we obtain uh, theta 0, theta by theta 0 in this form. Theta by theta 0 is equal to all these big terms are coming there, and again we will use some trigonometry and hyperbolic relations to further simplify it. Okay, because you cannot every time you cannot write so many factors. Okay, so this becomes very laborious task and time consuming, and to avoid this, and also we have to sometimes remember and represent it in a short form. So to do this, trigonometric and hyperbolic functions have been used. So we know this now these terms like e raised to m l minus x plus e raised to minus m l m into l minus x. If we divide by 2 on numerator side and denominator side, it will mathematically it will not change, but we can get it in some suitable form. So when this term is divided by 2, we get it as a cos hyperbolic function. So cos hyperbolic function of m l minus x. So this term, and this term divided by 2, h upon mk will remain as a coefficient. So this term e raised to m into bracket l minus x minus e raised to minus m l minus x So this, as there is a minus sign, this will be sine hyperbolic of uh, m into L minus x, sine hyperbolic of m into L minus x. Same will happen at the bottom, only the variable will be ml. Variable in the denominator is ml, while on the numerator we have variable in the form of m into L minus x. Okay, so same formulation will be used, cos hyperbolic ml plus h upon mk into sine hyperbolic ml. Okay, so using the trigonometry and hyperbolic relations, we have converted this form into hyperbolic function. Okay, so this becomes quite easy to read, as well as represent, as well as use whenever such cases are involved. Okay, so cos hyperbolic function, sine hyperbolic function. Okay, so then again, to understand all these steps, how it is brought to this level, you have to do from your side. Okay, all these exercise you have to do on your own. You have to write down each and every step, and while writing it, you have to also understand what is done, why certain factors are cancelled, or how those have been replaced, and what substitutions have been used, and what adjustments have been taken care of. Okay, so to understand this, you have to go through this all rigorous process of derivation. I know it is very involved process, a lot of mathematics is involved in this, but finally what we are interested is, we are interested in the final form of equation. Okay, even though we are going through the process, very rigorous process of derivation, finally what we get, what result we get, that is important to us. Okay, so this equation number 10 gives the temperature distribution. Normally this case of analysis will not be asked in exam, because it is going to, it is very complicated and it is going to take a lot of time. So what you have to understand is how it is obtained, and how it is different from the other cases. Okay, you have to understand the differences. Okay, the same way we can go for heat transfer rate. Again, we have to use the boundary conditions well, and get to the final form of equation. Okay, so this is going to be the heat transfer rate. Same we can do for fin efficiency. Okay, again it is going to take some time for deriving all these terms, and we have to adjust many factors so that we can get them in the form of hyperbolic functions. Okay, I know it is very it is this case, it is very very difficult to remember all these formulae. So generally it is not it is such problems or such derivations are not asked in the examination. Only what you have to remember is the key factors. You have to look at the key factors. Key factors means there are some terms involving cos hyperbolic function and sine hyperbolic function. Okay, so in this way we complete our analysis for all three cases, and then we have to go for the problem solving based on the fin theory, whatever we have covered. Okay, so now the time is 12:20. We are past 12:20. So at this moment, we will stop our discussion, and we will carry on from this point in the next lecture. Okay, so let me take your attendance, then you can depart. Taking some seconds to let it record well. Okay, I think it is done. You can leave now. Thank you. Thank you.